Hey, baby. Welcome back to Healing is a Bitch. Oh my God. I'm back. Well, thank you again for tuning in. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that something's a little different. That's right. There's a new studio. Yes, I moved a little bit, moved some things around and, get used to this. And if you're listening on Spotify, because that's right, baby, we have expanded because not everybody can subscribe to YouTube Premium. So now you can also download the Spotify app, search for Healing is a Bitch, and bibbity boppity boo, you can listen there as well. All right. So whichever method you're choosing to listen to the show or watch the show, thank you again. I'm excited to start back up. Mama took a little break. All right. I needed a little hiatus. I need a little sabbatical to adult. All right. Everything's going great. Can't complain. I'm above ground. I'm healthy. I'm working. Okay. And I'm here. I'm here to talk some shit and heal. More importantly. Okay. So let's dive right into it. All right. Because today's episode, ooh, it's a big one. This emotion. Let me start off by saying, raise your hand if you're human. Oh, I can't see you, but you better have raised your hand, honey, because you are human and this emotion applies to you. Maybe not, hopefully, maybe not right now, but at one point or another, we have all have dealt with regret. Think of yourself in a tennis court, right? Even if you're not a tennis player, right? You still know what the sport of tennis is and what it entails. Even somebody as amazing as Serena Williams cannot volley multiple balls at a time, multiple, tennis balls at a time. That's regret in a way. It's you trying to juggle all of these possibilities and outcomes at once. The what if loops, shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Baby, we're not superhuman. Okay. So even Serena Williams couldn't handle that. So we shouldn't do that either. Unfortunately, it's much easier said than done, but we're going to unpack it a step at a time. I'll let you know some of my biggest regrets, okay? Because Mama loves an anecdote, all right? And then we're gonna see how we can incorporate our 3 C's of healing. Let me remind you again: it's your confidence, your comfort, and your conviction. All right. If you use all 3, if you mix all 3, okay, and you apply it or supplement it with whatever you're doing to keep healthy, baby, we're just gonna come out, healthier and better and smiling and lighter. All right, let's get into it, baby, because I'm ready for this topic. All right, let's do it. Hey, baby, welcome back again to Healing is a Bitch. I am your host, Erick Siqueira. I am a regret-filled but recovering human, just like you. All right, today we're gonna dive deep into the world of regret. And by world, I mean the world of regret in our minds. All right. Because it's this ongoing game, this loop that we find ourselves in with the what ifs, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, the crying over, literally sometimes crying over spilled milk, regretting choices that we made. All right. Because regrets can be an action that you no longer are okay with, or you're doubting, or you're insecure about. But conversely, it can also be an inaction or something you didn't do or something you didn't say, right? It can be as simple as, I should have called him back. I should have texted him back. Why didn't I do it? But if I did, he would have said this. And then you start creating these narratives in your mind. Like, well, if I take choice A, then this could have happened, but then I could do choice B, and then this could have happened. And then I could do choice C, and so on and so forth. We have all done this, regardless if you're rich, poor, black, white, left or right leaning, political, does not matter. If you're a human being, this applies to you. So that's what I love about this healing journey and passion project that I'm on here, is that even somebody like me who grew up as an immigrant and gay and felt ostracized at times by my family and friends for many different reasons, suffered through financial problems and try to find my footing in the world and getting comfortable with being gay and working my butt off to be a better athlete, a better version of myself, incorporating therapy in my life, all of that, right? All the unique pieces of our life that makes us. When I was sitting down and writing notes about the things I wanted to talk about and tackle when it comes to this subject, one of the biggest things, and I mentioned this in the teaser and even the preview, is the what if loop. It's the shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? It's had I done A or not done, because regrets can be an action or an inaction. How can things turn out? You kind of play out this game of like, all right, had I said this, had I texted back, had I applied for this job, had I, hugged my parent, had I, it could be anything from like a light topic to something heavy, like a loss or a missed opportunity. That is something we can collectively agree that we can always do better in, right? And that's the bitch about healing is none of us wants to sit in the negative parts of a feeling, right? I don't think anybody really relishes or actively or is actively happy marinating on like a negative like downward feel, right? I don't think that's something we wake up and go, "Ooh, today I'm going to feel unhappy and I can't." No. All right? And unfortunately, regret is one of those heavy emotions that compound. It adds up to itself if you don't check it. All right? And that's where I kind of want to start with this. The confidence of knowing that hey, you're not alone. You ain't the only one going through something. All right? You're not the only one that may have regretted saying something or doing something or not applying. Baby, we've all been through that. But how does it help you by going over and over and over and over, like, looking at a sports analogy? If you're Serena Williams and instead of receiving one volley, you're receiving like five. And, oh, wait, you know what? I just thought of another possibility. Oh, that means another. You know what I mean? Like, how many actual tennis balls do you think even somebody as great as Serena Williams can return? Logically speaking, not all of them. She's not a robot, and neither are you. Neither am I, right? So live in the comfort that you're not alone, okay? And it is, or it can be, a very heavy and taxing feeling. This, especially, I don't know about you, but I am, my biggest what if loops happen when like I'm trying to sleep and it's late at night. I call it the 2 a.m. Replays. Damn it, I should have said that. Ugh, why didn't I do that? Right. Thankfully now, with therapy and learning new tools and cultivating new tools through therapy, I do understand that there are things that you cannot control, and it does not matter how many scenarios you play out, right? Even if you disguise it as, which is something that I did, as, oh, I'm just, trying to expect the worst, or, I'm trying to prepare myself for next time. Though it may be a valiant stance to take, meaning like you kind of want to plan ahead of time to protect yourself, for another future possibility. How many times can you confidently say that's what actually transpires? Meaning, how many times have you marinated and like ruminated and just sat on the thought, the what if, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and how many times have you done that and it actually yielded a positive result? Meaning, what is all that planning good for? Because regret is this compounded feeling that it just keeps adding onto itself. Like it's like a weed in a garden. Like it just grows out of control, and you have to get it from the start. You have to recognize for what it is. Hence why I like to say you got to feel if you want to heal. Because if you don't recognize where it stems from, where it originates from, it's no wonder that it grows like a cancer out of control, and metaphorical. And I am the queen of that, honey. I am the queen of overthinking, because I think that overthinking and regret are cousins in a way, because you just kind of spiral into all these what ifs and shoulda, coulda, wouldas, these loops, right? You just keep thinking, well, I tried this thing and it didn't work, but what if I had done this, right? So then it becomes what if I did this action, or what if I didn't do this action? So it's a well-rounded emotion that if you don't know how to properly see it for what it is, that is just your body trying to help you and try to warn you and try to protect you from getting hurt, getting disappointed, getting dumped. I don't know about you, baby, but I'm a planner. All right. Not only in my daytime job, but also like as a thinker, I as a defense mechanism, I tend to overthink to come up with different ways to prevent me getting hurt. But the more I talked about it in therapy, the more I realized like a lot of times it's actually not helping me because I'm spending so much, not even spending, I should say, I would say wasting so much energy and time with these possibilities. And how many of them come true? But realistically, there's really one outcome in most scenarios, right? Baby, if I could add up all the time I wasted overthinking, analyzing the what ifs, the missed opportunities, the crying over spilled milk, the 2, 3 a.m. replays of breakups, of family issues, of work problems, like we all go through that. Okay. And it's okay to do that, but it's not okay to let it get out of control like a weed in a garden, right? So think of regrets as weeds in your garden. They pop up from time to time. Sometimes you can explain it. Sometimes you're like, how the hell did I mean in an actual garden? Like, like I just cleaned this whole. I'm not a homeowner, by the way, but I have enough friends who are homeowners who who go nuts over weeds because they're just this nuisance, and it's this constant battle with like what you try chemicals, you try burning them. You know what I mean? So you do try so putting it into this topic, you try these what ifs and shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Girl, you wear yourself down to the nub doing that. I know I have. I know I have. Okay, so I know if I have, I'm sure some, if not most of y'all have done that too. So that's why another reason why I wanted to tackle this, because this is kind of a heavy one, a big feeling, right? So one way that we can tackle this to start off is let's apply our 3 C's to this. Okay. So the comfort of knowing that you're not the only one going through it, that it's okay. It's okay to have different opinions. I'm not even going to call it regrets. It's okay to have hindsight. They say hindsight is 2020 because after you look at something, you go, oh yeah, I could have done that. But you ruminating and overthinking, and it's basically like replaying your life and going, oh yeah, this would have turned out this way if I did that. And you rewind and you try option B. Oh yeah, I could have. Girl, why are we wasting time doing that? That's where regrets are. It's this this hamster wheel of like the outcome is still the same. Sure, you can always try something different next time, but regret is anchored in the past, in this replay mode. Baby, we got to live in the now. We got to prep for the future, live in the now. And I would say too, as a person who is a mental planner, and even in my daytime job, I happen to be a planner as well. So I have to think, almost like a strategist, like a chess player. I have to think, 5 steps ahead and to think of objections to how to overcome them. It's okay to do that, but not to let it get out of control. Right. So much like the tennis sports analogy that I mentioned earlier, let's not throw too many balls on the court. Let's volley one serve at a time. All right. So let's leave the past in the past. Revisit, sure, because we can't help that. Right. But over visiting, if that's even a word, your past is the cousin of regret. No, baby. We got to live in the now. We got to live in the now and do better in the future. And it's so live in the comfort that you're not the only one and go, okay, it's in the past. It happened. It's maybe unfortunate what happened, but all right. All right. And the confidence that, you know what? I can do different next time. I didn't apply for that job, but guess what? I can apply it, the window of opportunity left for that job. Okay. There may be another one. Let me make sure I follow the page. Let me make sure I stay on top of the company so that I don't miss the opportunity. Those are things you can control. Okay, it didn't work out with this partner of mine. We broke up. It was nasty. It wasn't amicable. Okay, Next one, I know I shouldn't do the things that I did in this relationship, or I know that I need to be a better communicator. Those are things you can control. I mean, do yourself a favor, just as like a quick exercise. Try to estimate in days, not even in hours, like in days, how many. If you accumulate all the minutes and hours you spent in the what ifs, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, crying over spilled milk, could have done better, right? Think about all the times you did that. Accumulate that in days and see how many days you wasted in your life. I could probably bet. I'm not a betting person. I go to the casino, honey. Sometimes I spend like $100 and I'm good. If I walk out with $105, I'm a happy girl. If I make $5, okay. So I'm not an innate gambler. But if I were a gambling man, I would bet that most of y'all would accumulate days, if not weeks, if not, unfortunately, maybe a years or so of your life that are just wasted. Hopefully not yours, because my God, that's oof. And unfortunately, that's you cannot get that back, baby. So that's the so live in that conviction of going. You know what? I know that I can do better, even under stress. Okay, and that's why we do cultivate these tools, and that's why my hope to do this is to help supplement whatever you're doing so that you don't live in the past. So, so you, because you do have the conviction to go, you know what? I can do better. Yes, I can. What happened to me it doesn't have to define you. It can just be, okay, it was a chapter in my life. Much easier said than done. Okay. I understand that, believe you me. Okay. I can talk about it extensively. Okay. And don't code it like I do in, oh, you're a planner. And like I did, not usually. I have to like snap myself out of it. I'm like, Eric, you think you're trying to plan yourself for the future or, help yourself in the future. But what about the now, honey? What about the time you're wasting now? Well, baby, you are definitely not wasting your time by taking in all the advices from this episode. But you know what time won't forgive? Feet that smell like waste. So make sure to grab a can of PU Shoe Foot Odor Relief Spray to whisk away the smell of the day. It's as easy as spray, psh, delay, hooray, yay! All the humans around you will thank you too. PU Shoe, because I don't want to smell you. And I will say this, once I started, and this is more of like a year in the last year or so development, once I started actually applying this and really working hard, consciously going, oh, I'm doing the spiraling thing. Let me take a breath. Let me meditate. Let me go outside and walk. Let me, find different healthy ways to release that, right? I can tell you this, sitting in your bedroom in the dark ain't one of them. Even though you may have done it for many years, like I have, okay, I am a proud bed overthinker. Not B-A-D, B-E-D, bed, not bad, bed overthinker. Mama, there's something about being in the dark and under the covers with the fan on and the AC and just ruminating over shit. It feels like home. It feels like such like a comforted thing. But just because something has been comforting for many years or for a big chunk of your life doesn't necessarily mean that it's always the best for you. Okay? Because again, I welcome you to add up the minutes, the hours, the days that you have not spent wasted. Because we got to reframe that because you cannot get that time back. So it's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your energy. Okay, we need to we will get a hang on this because I still struggle with it, from time to time. But again, I now know I need to snap myself out of it. Whether I need to go run on the treadmill, whether it's working out, go play volleyball, play video games, go outside for a walk, call a friend. That's what 8, 7 different things I just mentioned in less than 15 seconds, right? But those are things that work for me. Those are healthy outlets that work for me. You need to find healthier outlets that work for you. Hell, try any of the ones that I just mentioned, please, by all means. Absolutely. Oh, but walking outside is cheesy. it may seem cheesy, but there's something about, even if you just take 30 minutes to just put, baby, get your headphones on. That's what I do. I put my headphones on. I get my favorite playlist, my favorite artists, my favorite songs, and I just breathe and I go walk, honey. I go walk in the neighborhood, go walk by the river, go walk by the park. I do that. I find myself doing that a lot, just not just for decompressing, but also for an outlet, a healthy outlet. Because my other outlets, honey, in the past were drinking heavily, doing drugs, crying. If you're doing that, you're human, so it's okay. Like we're not berating, we're not putting anybody down because God knows, honey, I've done those enough times. Okay, but nothing is stopping you right now from changing that. Again, coming from the overthinking queen here, I'm telling you, you can reframe that. Okay, so get in the comfort of knowing you ain't alone. There's other people out there like me, with worse or the same kind of problems, or situations. Get confident with that. Or get confident in yourself and going, you know what, I can do better. I don't have to oversaturate. I don't have to like drown in these thoughts and the what ifs. I can just breathe, choose a healthy outlet, okay, and have the conviction, give yourself grace too. By the way, because I that's something that I have definitely got more comfortable with over the last year or so, about giving yourself grace, and this is something I'll probably mention every episode, because we really need to give ourselves grace. We need to allow ourselves to be human, to go, you know what, I may have done this for so long, but dang it, today it's going to be different. And try it. Breathe, do a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Call a friend, like whatever it is that you think will work best for you. Do it, mama. Try it out. Okay. It's sure as shit worked for me, and I'm telling you, it does not mean that the comfort feelings of like, oh, here I go overthinking again. It becomes this, like, you can kind of see it, you can smell it from a mile away. That's the point where I'm at. Is that I can sense when I start to like get into the what if. I'm like, girl, we're not doing that. And if I do, I don't let it overtake my life. I don't let it become the gigantic beast that it used to be. When I play tennis, I want to have one volley at a time. I ain't trying to get all these tennis balls at me. Baby. No, thank you. This ain't dodgeball. You can do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, baby. Because again, it's not perfection. It's not, it's progress, not perfection. Just like my motto for therapy. Combining that with regrets, that is actually one of my 3 that I wrote down, biggest regrets that I have. Because everybody has, little regrets, a lot of those, kind of like white lies, right? Everybody tells a white lie once in a while, and those are quote unquote okay. Little regrets are okay, but keep them at bay. Don't let them overtake it. But there are some big ones that I have marinated a lot over the years. But again, no point in crying over spilled milk. Clean it up, move on. Because we still there's other things going on in life. I'm sure you have a lot that you're juggling as well, with work, kids, paying bills, trying to work out, trying to have a social life, try to date. Like the adult, I love being adults, but mama, let's make it easy on us. Okay, let's give ourselves that grace. Okay, so therapy, not starting therapy earlier, that was definitely one of my biggest regrets. And I say was because I no longer sit here and go, really? What if I just started at 10 years? Ugh. What the fuck is the point of me doing that? I started when I started for the reasons that I started. At the timing, sometimes timing in life is what it is. And the sooner, I should say, the sooner we give ourselves the grace to embrace that. I'm telling you, as somebody who has lived on both sides of this fence, as somebody who has been the crazy overthinker, the laying in bed crying for hours at a time about the what ifs and should have, well, own it. Here, hands up, owning it. I can also tell you, being on the other side of just going, you know what, been there, done that. Doesn't mean that the problem isn't still there or wasn't still there, but I no longer wish to waste more time with that. So therapy was one of the subjects or places in my life where I was like, you know what? At least I did it. Eventually I did it. Would I have benefited from doing it sooner? Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Even if it was 6 months before I started or a year before I started. Absolutely, right? At least I'm giving myself the grace of going, you know what? At least I did it. I now know better. And I'm only going to focus as much as I can on the present and the future, right? So that's one of the big ones. My other one, and this one may hit more people than ooh, girl, not being financially responsible at an earlier stage in my life. I'm only at the ripe age of 38. Okay. Okay. But, and it's kind of goes with the therapy part, which is most of my adult life, I spent just surviving, AKA like living paycheck to paycheck and just trying to spend whatever money I had left. I wasn't thinking about savings accounts and retirement. I wasn't thinking of all this, especially in my 20s. I definitely wasn't thinking of all that. I was thinking about what softball trip was I going to? Because I was an avid softball travel player. And there were years I must have done like 6, 7 tournaments in a year. So basically every other month I was spending money in flights, hotel, drinking, food, and shenanigans. Okay. That shit accumulates over time. Also paying bills, credit cards, student, not student loans, but on my credit cards for, for school payments. In hindsight, should I have dialed back on, you know, softball traveling and volleyball and all? Yeah, I could have and saved more money. Of course, I could have probably had a house by now because that's eventually where my brain went with this financial part was, bitch, I could have had a better car. I could have had a house. Reality is that's not where I'm at today. All right. But what the fuck is the point of me like, meh about it? Like, what? I can always just do better going forward. And that is what I'm choosing to do. Doesn't mean that once in a while I kind of go, really, Eric? Again, human. I do have moments. Okay. But a financial stress is a big, I would say, a very common human regret that people have. But I'm definitely doing much better with it now. Am I where I would love to be? Where, if you gave me like a plan and say, where would you want to be 5, 10 years? Am I there right now? No, but I am certainly taking the steps towards it, which is all I can do. All right. And then the last one, I hope it's something that also resonates with most of you. It's not taking care of my physical health earlier, meaning stretching more, taking, again, as in volleyball and also softball player, you use your hips a lot. And even even if you don't play sports, by the way, your hips and your lower back are integral to your physical health. Okay. I was doing, the basic like stretch your arms, stretch your legs, like the kind of shit that we did in high school because nobody actually, taught the kids like, hey, these are all the muscles that you use when you're running. Hey, these are all the muscles that you use when you're, jumping and spiking ball and throwing. Like it's more than just arm stretches and leg stretches and like running suicides. There are specific muscle groups and joints you need to lubricate and work on if you want longevity and healthiness for your body. Well, honey, because the older I got, ooh, my lower back and my hips were aching, motherfucker. I would play like an hour of volleyball. Bitch, my knees, my hip, my leg, but I'm like, what? I felt like Mrs. Potato. I'm like, I just need a whole, like, pop it out and pop me a new leg or something. Ugh. But after enough years of bitching about it, oh, and also gaining weight, short shit did not help any of that. Okay, because I think in my heaviest, I was around like 15-ish to 20-ish. I'm around 6 feet tall. So according to like the healthy, like whoever the fuck came up with that, I know who it wasn't. The show's not political, so I'm not gonna go there. But whoever came up with the, height, weight, age chart, just to give you like perspective and context. For a 30-year-old male of around my height, 6 feet tall, for 38 years of age, I should be at like 170 pounds or something to be on the quote unquote normal range. Bitch, I was like 160 in high school and I thought I was fat, but that's a whole different story, honey. So I was like about 40, 50 pounds overweight. Yeah. But that also means like more strain is, in your knees and all that. Instead of bitching and complaining about my jeans not fitting tight, that's a whole other thing about your health. Girl, when you start to notice when your clothes that you wore for a long time, when they start to get tight and leave welts in your body. So instead of bitching and complaining about it, or buying more clothes, which is also what I did, I decided to hire a trainer and get a wrangle on my physical health, and bibbity boppity boo, got it down to a cute level. And now, even as I got older, even after I took better care of my weight, my hips and my lower back were still bothering me. Then I started stretching more. I incorporated yoga into my regimen. I do yoga now 3-4 times a week. Baby, I'm inching back towards like club high school days where I was able to like dive and get up quickly. I'm like, what the fuck? It does work when you apply something that makes sense to your body and what you want to do. It can change, because I noticed, actually specifically noticed it this week when I was at a volleyball clinic. I went to dive for this ball, and I remember like I did a dig and I rolled up and got on my feet, and I went, "Oh my god, I used to do that in high school." Whereas in my adult years, before I really started stretching, doing yoga and all that, mama, I would be like, I would roll around and take my time to get up, and I don't know if you know anything about volleyball, honey. It's a fast-paced sport, so you ain't got time to be sitting there moaning and groaning and thinking about, oh, my hip, my leg. Baby, you got to get the hell up, because that ball is coming over soon. We got the other team has 3 touches, baby, so you got to, right? So that's how I knew. That's how it clicked on me. I'm like, oh shit. I stopped bitching about not feeling healthy. I decided to do something about it. And now the result is, oh, I don't hurt nearly as much as I used to. So my performance is a lot better. And that's the goal. As an athlete, that should be, I would hope, your goal, right? To last long and not have and prevent injuries. That's also a big one. So yeah, those are the big 3 for me. Mental health, physical health, and financial. I don't know why I did this. I literally did. If you're listening on YouTube, I just put my thumb, my index, and my middle finger to count to 3 instead of like. Anyways, yeah, those are my big 3 regrets, big regrets. But see, I don't even think of them as regrets anymore. If anything, I will put quote unquote regret, because yes, they're 3 significant pillars of my life. And no, they're not perfect by any means or anywhere near perfect. But gradually, by taking steps, by breathing, by acknowledging that there really is no long-term gain from living in that regret, past anchor of your life, and replaying this shit. Like I'm telling you, ooh wee, as somebody who's on the other side of it, girl, I am telling you. And by the way, girl applies for everybody, all ages, sizes, genders. Okay, that's just a big gay terminology. Now I wish I could apply. Now when I talk about my current regret, I wish I could ball all of this up and send my ass a message back in the past and be like, hey, baby, this is your future self calling. Take care of these 3 things and you're going to be the bestest version of your life yet. But since there is no such thing as a time machine, we have to just focus on the now, control what we can control, give ourselves the grace we deserve, because we're not robots. We're humans. We're learning. We're growing. We're healing. And yeah, that's it, baby. Breathe, shake, let it go, talk to, all that. Girl, we got this. This is something that I know it is. I said it is a big feeling because it is, right? But you can recognize it for what it is and just not let it take over you. Easier said than done? Sure. But baby steps, little heels, little affirmations, okay, I got this. And you will. Because believe me, I was a basket case. This this particular subject, I can confidently tell you. I'll even just lean in the camera, honey. I'll even lean in and say, bitch, right here, overthinker, queen. Overthinker, queen, right here. So if I can do it, baby, so can you. All right? So can you. Okay, well, I think that is enough for this subject for this week. Whew. So I hope I was able to help you in any way, shape, or form because, this is something we can all take a little something positive away from. Okay? So if you find yourself tonight or, or today, or, whenever you're listening to this or watching this, if you find yourself going, oh yeah, I do have that problem. You know what? It ain't gonna. Is it gonna change? You overthinking about it. Is it gonna change right now? Probably not. Okay, so go outside, take a walk, go relax, go cook, go, I don't know, go pet a dog. There's so much you can do out there instead of sitting there crying over a man or a job. Okay. We got this. We got shit to do, honey. We got a life to live, and let's live it smiling and happy. All right. Well, I love you, my little humans, my little healers. I got you. Okay, I got you. Mama's here for you. Okay, and I'll be back next week with a new episode, a new gig in the same new, I was gonna say office, but my studio. Okay, and then we'll tackle something else, and we're gonna keep on going, honey. All right, I'm proud of you. You got this. Yes, you do. And thank you, thank you, thank you for listening and or watching. And as always, please, please, please like, share, and subscribe on the YouTube page. And if you're listening on Spotify, please make sure to follow us so you don't miss any updates or episodes that I put in. And go ahead and there's also a little star button there, honey. Give us a rating. Okay, it maybe not now, but she has more episodes coming down. So see what happens and then we'll go from there. All right. I love you for listening and watching. Hey, baby. Disclaimer time. I am not a medical professional. All right. I just got a cute little business degree from Florida Atlantic University. Okay. Not a medical one. This show is meant to have supplemental effect on whatever your healing journey is. All right. But seriously, if you're going through something, through a crisis or anything like that, please reach out to a medical professional because your mental health does matter. You got to feel if you want to heal. Okay, one way I like to look at regret, and we're going to dissect it, a little bit, but the way I like to look at it is think of it yourself as Serena Williams. Blah. I don't know about you, baby. I'm a planner. Oh, Jesus, I just hit the mic. But you don't got to let it get to that big. Right? And unfortunately, it's not shit that you can get back. Shit. Such thing as a time machine. We have to continue living the future.